This is the new Mac Mini and I am beyond excited to open it because I'm going to be telling you 10 reasons on why you need a new Mac Mini or why you might want to think about it. For me, the reason that I'm just so excited about it is because it is absolutely insane what Apple has done with this thing. They've made it way smaller and this thing is so powerful that this feels like a Mac Studio in a very small form factor. And I think that's the first reason on why you might want to pick one up, because of its new design. It's actually only 5 by 5 inches, which is extremely small. Let me show it to you, which by the way, you see that? You read that right there? Yeah, we're gonna talk about that later as well. Are you ready? We're gonna see this together. I mean, I actually saw it at the Apple event, but it's the first time that I'm actually seeing it in person right here. It is so freaking beautiful. Before we check it out, let's see what's inside of the box. We get a power brick. We get some paperwork, which is actually laser cut around to fit right here, which is super cool. And it says designed by Apple in California. And literally that's it. There's only a power brick and a Mac Mini. I mean, what else would you expect it to come? Inside, there is some instruction manual. This is the actual power cable. It's actually braided and feels like very strong and sturdy. Like this thing doesn't feel like, you know, it's going to break anytime soon. Like if we actually bent it just a little bit. Yeah, it's like a super tough cable, which really reminds me of the Studio Display, like Thunderbolt cable. Like this thing feels like very, very strong. All right, and here it is. Let's go ahead and get rid of the paperwork right here on the side. And here's the design of the Mac Mini. Up in the front, we've got 2 USB-C ports, a headphone jack, and the light indicator for power. In the back, we've got tons of ports. We've got power, we've got Ethernet, HDMI, 2 Thunderbolt ports, and 1 USB-C. This right here in the back is where all the thermals go and the power button. Now, this has been highly criticized that Apple actually put the power button in the bottom, which I understand for a lot of people, but let's be realistic. Come up close. How many times do you turn off your Mac? Every day? Every month? Every year? I mean, I get it. It would have been nice here. It's not a big deal. Calm down. Reason number 1, the design. Now, this new design is extremely small. As I said, 5 by 5 inches. Here's a quick comparison with a freaking Apple TV. Yes, this is real life. An M4 chip, super powerful Mac, running insane graphics. It's equally almost the size of an Apple TV. This is the size of a HomePod mini box. This is the size of an iPhone 16 Pro Max. This is my hand. Yes, I can literally hold it with one hand. So yes, you get it. New design, it's beautiful. My second reason is the value. It is by far one of the best Apple products in terms of value, in terms of its price tag. It's the most affordable entry into high performance. Now, obviously, since this is a computer without a screen, Apple can really trim down the price. But now since Apple makes their own chipsets, they're able to bring this very unique package, which is the Mac Mini. It starts at $599 with incredible specs already. And you can also boost it up with the M4 Pro chip and better specs, and that will cost you $1399. Which is still an incredible package no matter what price tag you get. Reason number 3 would be the RAM. Now, Apple has actually upgraded all of the Macs in their entire lineup with 16 gigs of base RAM, which is incredible news if you really use your Mac in a day-to-day basis. 8 gigs was not enough. And a lot of people were frustrated that they really wanted this to happen. And Apple recently has really been listening to us, the customer. And it didn't take long for Apple to just give us that 16 gigs of RAM. If reason number 2 was incredible value, 16 gigs of RAM brings that value even further. Such a good package. Now, as I was showing you before, in the back, we have a redesigned thermal system. The new system guides that air into all of the flows of the system, and all of that heat ends up with this flow that just goes out of the system, allowing you, once again, to have better performance. And while we're talking about performance, we obviously have to talk about the M4 chip. It boosts the performance with CPU and GPU speed, making it extremely responsive for anything that you would want to do with a Mac like this, which is usually for creatives, for students, for demanding tasks, for extensive workflows, for video editing, for graphic designing, for AI, obviously with Apple Intelligence, which yes, good news about this is that Apple is promoting this Mac that it can run Apple Intelligence. And I'm very glad to announce that now with macOS Sequoia, a lot of Apple Intelligence features are now out. From writing tools to a more natural Siri, from being able to type to Siri, which is very useful on the Mac. My next reason are the ports, because this redesign of Mac Mini puts a couple ports in the front, which is so freaking useful. We do not have an SD card slot, which is something that I wish this would have, because at the end of the day, a lot of video editors and a lot of photographers will be using this, and that is only a Mac Studio feature, which, you know, it has it right in the front, which is, you know, very useful. We're gonna need to use adapters, which is not ideal, but still, I'm talking about the positive here. 2 USB-C ports in the front, which makes it very accessible, and the headphone jack, which is very nice. And then in the back, we have the power source, Ethernet, HDMI, and this right here, it really depends on which model you get. So if you do get the M1 Pro chip, you're gonna have 2 Thunderbolts, or if you have the standard M4 chip, you'll have 2 USB-C and 1 Thunderbolt port right here in the back for insanely fast transfer speed. I've also got very good news if you love Apple accessories like the Magic Mouse or like the Magic keyboard right here. The entire Apple ecosystem is now USB-C. There's no more Lightning on any Apple product. The last products that needed USB-C were the Magic Keyboard, the Magic Mouse, and the Magic Trackpad. And there you go. As you can see right here, it's now got USB-C, which is phenomenal news. Now when you're in your studio at home and you're looking for a USB-C cable to charge your keyboard, chances are you're gonna find it. My next reason is versatility, because what I love about the Mac Mini is obviously that it doesn't have a display, and the price tag is so down that then if you want a very expensive monitor like an Apple Vision Pro, and you know, this is kind of a very weird setup right here, but doesn't it make sense in a way? I know this thing is like super expensive compared to this, but if you have an Apple Vision Pro, this is such a cool and unique setup that you could go anywhere and you could really crank this up and have like a very portable, super studio AR mixed reality setup. You can also go premium monitors because the Mac Mini supports the highest resolution displays in the market. It actually drives up to 3 external 6K displays over Thunderbolt or HDMI. And talking about HDMI as well, if you also want to go a little bit on the budget side, maybe you're a student, maybe you want to pick up a Mac Mini, you want an overall budget-friendly pack, you could simply pick up a fairly cheap monitor on Amazon, pick this up, and then you end up having an overall very good value and powerful setup, and then you can upgrade later on to a more premium monitor, or maybe you never have to. But I just love this reason on why you need a Mac Mini: the versatility, the price tag, and then you can decide on what to pick with the display. And then, as I was showing you before, as you can see, carbon neutral. The new Mac Mini is now the first ever 100% carbon neutral Mac in the world. Do you know Apple's targeting to be carbon neutral by 2030, their entire product line, and they're slowly creating carbon neutral products. And I feel like the Mac is a very tough device to make carbon neutral. There's so many components. It's not like an Apple Watch, which was the first ever carbon neutral product. There's a lot that goes into creating a Mac. We know that Apple is now using over 50% recycled content. They're using clean electricity, and even from their transportation of the Mac Mini itself, they're shifting away from air shipping, becoming an end result of having the first ever carbon neutral Mac, which is amazing. I feel like the new Mac Mini will be so popular for so many different types of people, from students, from artists to designer to video editors. This shouldn't be called a Mac Mini in my opinion. It should be a Mac Studio Mini, a Mac Pro Mini, a super powerful Mini. So this was the new Mac Mini, and those were my top 10 reasons on why you might want to pick this up. If you want to keep watching, Apple just released the new iMac, so you can tap this video and discover everything that's new about it, including that beautiful green color, which I'm just obsessed with. Subscribe if you're new, and yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of this guy. Okay, bye-bye.